When you hear the word cartel, you probably think of violence, drugs, and Latin America. But why Latin America? Why not Africa or Asia? Before we look at why, we have to know what a cartel actually means. Unlike a gang, their goal is not just survival, and they are not just a local organization. And unlike a mafia, cartels are not built on family ties. And most importantly, mafia usually does not want to destroy or replace the government. Mafia may even support the government because in the existence of government, mafia may operate easily. The word cartel comes from economics. A cartel is a group of independent companies that join together to control the prices. A drug cartel works like a business cartel, but instead of contracts, they use violence. But why drug cartels are so common in Latin America is a mystery. We'll discuss it in few points. The coca leaf, raw ingredient for cocaine, does not just grow anywhere. It is native to the Andean region, Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, etc. If someone wants to produce cocaine, raw ingredients are in Latin America. According to the data of worldpopulationreview.com in 2023, total drug use rate of the USA per 100,000 is 3,815. Second country with the highest rate is Canada, with the rate of 2,169. USA's rate almost doubles its closest competitor. So we can safely say in the region of America, there is a demand for drugs. Where there is demand, supply follows. Against that, in the 1970s, the United States of America launched an aggressive campaign against drugs. Small gangs ceased to exist. However, cartels gained more control. Demand stayed the same, but supply had to be done. Drug prices went high, and thanks to the United States of America's campaign, there were less competitors for cartels. On the south side of America, there is extreme poverty. On the north side of America, there is disposable income. So, give the money, take the drug. And then we have Mexico, which could be imagined as a bridge for flow of drugs from south to north. To the east and west of Mexico lie the Sierra Madre Mountains. These mountains have been used as a natural shield for cartels, hiding secret laboratories and providing escape routes for cartel members. So the Sierra Madre Mountains in Mexico and dense jungles of Central America provides a position where total control from government is almost impossible. The 2,000-mile US-Mexico border is one of the busiest in the world. High traffic in the border provides better opportunities for cartels to hide their products in trucks. If you can hide it, you become rich overnight. As we can understand from this point, it is an easier way to become rich. Then we can ask, if there are criminals, then there are officers and state who will punish them for their crimes. Right? Have you ever heard silver or lead? Or Plata or Plomo? You are going to get an offer which you cannot refuse. You either get the silver, money, or you'll get the lead, bullet. In many parts of the Latin America, local mayors and or local police chiefs hear the word Plata or Plomo. You can refuse their demands and maybe die for your honor. How about your children, friends, family? Why are they taking the guilt for your choices? So, money or bullet, not just for you, but also for your family. Or you can accept their demands and take the money from them, and you'll get more money than you get from your official job. So, some might ask, does this mean cartels are more powerful than local mayors and or police chiefs? And the answer is yes, they are. Operations could be made against cartels, but it is not easier to operate against cartels all over the Latin America. Plata o Plomo creates institutionalized corruption. And I have a question for you. Who controls the lawyers, police, military, politicians? State could be an answer, or some can say nobody controls them. They should be independent. Both are logical answers, but if there is someone who controls them, the one is simply the most powerful. Nobody can compete with them. In some regions in Latin America, cartels control these mechanisms. That's why cartels are so powerful and almost inevitable in Latin America. So, what made cartels inevitable? They did not just come up and say we have the control over the enforcement and judgment mechanisms. They had money from drugs, but still, how they control the enforcement mechanism? And especially, how did they get militarized? We see what's happening in Mexico right now. We see cartel members dressed like a professional soldier. In the late 1990s, Los Zetas came up. They were not just the cartel members or ordinary criminals. They were former members of the Mexican army. They combined military techniques with cartel mentality. Cartels became entities capable of competing with the police, no longer escaping or hiding from them. So, how do they access the firearms then? Many of the firearms that used by cartels are trafficked from the USA, where buying firearms easier than most of the countries. As I mentioned before, cartels may want to govern a region, competing with state or local governors. And if they have the enforcement, judgment, and administration mechanisms, they can act like local governors. This is where they connect with public. People just want to survive. They want food. They do not care where they get it from. Ask no question, hear no lies. They build church, pave roads, and make public support to people. So, if cartel members get arrested by state may face the civilians' reaction. Another area cartels connect with public is they offer a wealthy but risky life. As we can all guess, tendency to be a member of cartel or mafia is higher in the areas of extreme poverty. Some people who live in these areas see the cartels as only way out. And before blaming the society, imagine yourself as a youngster who lives in Latin America. You have friends like so rich thanks to the cartel, and these friends are all protected by cartels against minor gangs and other cartels. So, cartels provide protection, flashy lifestyle, but for a small period of time. You can live in poverty in 50 years, or you can live like a king for 5 years. A drug shipment that costs a few $1,000s to produce can be sold for tens of thousands in the USA. High risk, high reward. But even in most cases, these people don't have any choice but to become member of a cartel. Now we come to the most critical question. Why Latin America? There are so many other regions in the world where extreme poverty is the most significant problem. But why Latin America? For decades, countries like Mexico were ruled by single-party systems that had silent agreements with criminals. States were politically unstable, had weak institutions, and there were military coups frequently. In such environment, state authorities remained fragile, allowing criminal organizations like cartels to grow. But when this system collapsed and moved towards democracy, those agreements vanished. Criminals are no more cooperating with state. They actually compete with the state. Cartels just did not step in to sell drugs. They step in to be a parallel state, a new authority. In Latin American countries, judgment mechanism is not effective, simply broken. In these countries, unsolved murder rates are one of the highest in the world. That shows us judgment mechanism in these countries is not effective. The narco culture is also important. The cartel is not just like a parallel state or business. It is a culture. Expensive clothes, expensive cars, guns, flashy lifestyle. Life stories of cartel leaders like showing it from lowest to highest. Cartels do not only provide a way out, but also they provide the identity for you. We cannot say for sure this is the reason why cartels are so common in Latin America. There are so many various reasons like extreme poverty, challenging geographic features, absence of state authority, hopeless society, the reputation of cartels in society, weak enforcement, and judgment mechanisms. So, they are all interconnected with each other. Cartels are not a single problem to solve, they are a system. Hoping for a better future for the people of Latin America. And we came to the end of the video. Please do not like and subscribe. I'll make you remember it next time. And if you have a feedback about the video, please do not hesitate to let me know. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.